Thank you for that. Heard your name Daniel tonight, so you know.
Yes.
You got the word or hold down back, okay? Be calm. This is my annual dress down month while I'm at the Crawfish Festival. Excuse okay. I'm going to walk some things off there. Watson and Bolin, better viewership.
He told me to cover up, so I'm like, he told me, he said, Rob, you need to cover up. He told you to let us.
Yeah, that's legs.
I need to renegotiate my contract.
Well, it's like that in the record, so negotiation skills.
He told you to let this. Is that what it is?
He loves you. Your man loves you.
Yeah. Love is but love does.
He doesn't want to share it with anybody else. He's very jealous. He doesn't want to share it with anybody else.
On the other hand, you're sharing yourself with someone. Okay, so tell us why you're sharing your legs.
God. Well, I'm working the Pensacola Crawfish Festival part of the ES. We have a multi-heritage cultural committee that we're creating. Our goal is to create a Happy Days crew, and we're working towards that. But one of the efforts is to make sure that the minority community is represented within the history of Pensacola.
We're already there. You're saying represented on the committee, represented in the fiesta.
Represented more, represented more visually. But we have a long history here in Pensacola, and we make sure that we're part of that history that's being demonstrated, and we'll make sure that we're there, make sure we're at the table to ensure that things are supported properly.
So you're not here to, okay, all right. So that's why you were dressed down today, because you were raising money while doing good.
Yes.
Doing well.
Volunteer, my lovely wife, Mary, is also volunteered. So we volunteer make sure the bands are taken care of, and they see the disability of us being there.
Trying to get the money on your legs and on the heritage legs. Is that what you do?
Of course.
Well, you know, listening to on Facebook Live and WBQP TV all on the Gulf Coast. We're glad you're here. We got Watson's behind the camera.
Watson Square. Watson Square.
Which one is more square than the other? We won't say.
We got the more seasoned Watson. We have the young.
Well, season Watson.
He's
Yeah, you better be nice to him.
Okay.
So we're glad you're here. It's like, let's hear this first time here.
First time.
First timers.
First time.
Turns. We had two, it's the first time we've been this season, first time. That's the right way to say it. We call them. Stay every time.
That's why they have virgins.
It's called the network virgin.
Mr. Watson just received one of the Chamber's Community Partners Awards. Watson did a great dance out there. And then this whole network.
Away from the virgins today.
So I feel like I'm I make sure I keep away from the virgins.
We attend the virgins.
I'm trying to make sure.
We are in the virgins.
I want to be our guest.
You're okay. Well, listen, Lord has been posted. Thank y'all for the sponsors. The Gulf Coast Minority Chamber of Commerce. Being among y'all right there from the beginning. Thank you so
So very beginning.
And yeah, and celebrate. So you did just celebrate your annual meeting, and so we talked about that last month.
I don't know. This has been our annual meeting we have every 3 years. That's celebrating our community partners and things. You guys are always great recipients. You started off dancing, now we get your awards. I appreciate the support that you always do for the community, Mr. Watson, and all the other ones. So I appreciate you guys being
Thank you for the recognition of my annual exercise. So
You did a great job too.
thank you. That's actually that read that our special guest here tonight. And,
Yeah.
so see the connection that you make. That's important.
But I do have a little gift for you though. So this is the annual, Crawfish Festival.
Is that because I'm from Arkansas?
Well, yeah, boy, give me some crawfish. To eat.
Oh my. Oh my.
You know, your head feels so much better with the crawfish head there.
Oh my goodness. Your wife, and I'm going to especially when you go out with my friend, but apparently, that's the young one.
Lord asked me to do it. Lord said, "No, you're part of the process. Yeah, man." Because he loves you. CEOs need to have fun too. You're the CEO of life and you have good fun.
Oh my.
Mr. Watson, he's already with us.
Oh my, I don't even know where to go next.
Yes.
Okay,
What is the word?
yes, let me, yeah, I want people to take me seriously. We post things on the website.
Only I can do that.
Yes. So we're gonna have this Sunday, we're oh my oh my goodness.
Okay, get to it. Get to it, please.
The links are sponsored a critical conversation speaker series, and we're excited to be part of the first one in the afternoon of intellectual enrichment this Sunday, April 26th at 2 p.m. at the Bolin Institute. And it's the guest speaker will be Dr. Laura Boyd. Many of you may know her. She is the one who started the UWF program, University of West Florida program University, some decades ago. And so her and her family have a long history in this community and in the medical community as well. So we're excited. That is pretty open to the public. And so that's Sunday. And then Sunday night, you can go to DJ Dale's block party. So
Yes.
you can go and learn about healthcare. Healthcare.
Well, DJ Dale made sure to say that it's not a block party on the street, it's a block party that's on the properties. So it's a very safe event, it's not out on the road, cleaning up the street or anything. So please, you're in a safe environment there.
And she's got some really good people who are going to appear. So, that's right down in the 10 yard, right there, 1007 West Vermont Street, live music, graphics, vendors, and it's going to be, as she says, one hell of a block party. So, and DJ Bill, that's been amazing for this community. Social work Friday and community activists in the afternoon, DJ and she had 3 jobs.
Yes, we did our annual meeting and she was outstanding. Walked through music, she was so good. She was so fun.
So much. And then what's going on?
Well, Chamber's helping us open an event on May the 16th with Ms. Edna Laughlin with the Delta local mother-daughter tea here. And then on 17th, June Lee is actually hosting, Jill's actually hosting an event here in the chamber as well. So back to back on Saturday and Sunday here at the atrium in the building. Yes, it is. They're going to have team up all across this building. Not me here personally, but it's going to be wonderful. Yes, it's going to be a great event. Those 2 things are going on. Hey, we are hosting there. Nonprofit CEO. We're living this event.
Brooklyn Johnson Beach is based at 10 a.m. out at the national parks, the Johnson Beach National Park Service. So, and that day is free and open to the public, and we'll post that. So, long history, that's at 10 a.m. They do that annual ceremony. We grew up right here in this neighborhood. And lost his life at the age of 17, went into the Korean War at the age of 15, lost his life, saving heroically 2 or 3 of his comrades there fighting for the cause. And so, as we celebrate 250 years this year, was anybody around then? No, it's like my husband, the only one that was around. Everybody else was around. Everybody else seems like I have to get him back somehow.
You know, it's amazing that we named the beach in his honor, and we didn't realize what the beach is named after, and the fact that he dedicated his life, making sure that we were safe as a country. So,
True war hero,
really
17 years old. What are you doing at 17? Besides showing those legs.
you know, I don't want to talk about that. Every saint has a future, every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. So I don't know. Yes, sir.
I think that should be our, let's see here. Stop looking up, stop looking up. I see you looking up. I think maybe that should be our, one of our topics for the event.
Yes.
Saints and sinners.
Exactly.
Saints and sinners. Okay, I don't know. Do I have anything else? I don't have anything else. Did I miss anything?
Well, we thank our sponsors. We don't recognize the virgins in the crowd. We got pride to get the people later. Talk about the events.
Leave that after. Yeah, leave that after. What else? That's it. That's it. America celebrates 250 years. Make sure your story is in there. We just kind of talk about Rosamund Johnson. Make sure your story is in there. It's in there. Pensacola's doing some pretty cool things this year, so make sure your story is in there. However your story fits in America, it's making it 250. Make sure your story is in there. That's really important. And so I think Miss Pensacola has collated a lot of things on their website, so make sure.
Yeah, you know, me and Eric were recently driving out to the beach and realized that the cross in Pensacola Beach, we were the first settlement back in 1559. Here in Pensacola, the first settlement, and unfortunately, the hurricane kind of wiped us away a little bit. We were the first.
Yeah, first European settlement, so they were Native Americans here. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
First European settlement. Yeah.
So it's just something to remember the fact that in Pensacola,
Take that, St. Augustine.
take that. Under the thing on so Watson get very personal about that. Talk about the first and the two thing. He gets very emotional. Make sure he. And that's about the radio thing for cable TV, and he'll tell you.
So we were talking with him on Thursdays on the air, and so we were talking about that Christmas attitude is recognized as the first African American person, Native American, to lose his life in the cause for ahead of the American Revolution, and Christmas Attic's Court was named for him here in 1940. Was named for him here. So there is a direct connection of recognizing history. And often our buildings are named for these people, so that's pretty significant.
It really is.
Yeah, we talked about how with the Henry Keller who did the original painting, it was when it was engraved by Paul Revere, they lightened his skin but made him appear to be white. And so the one that's in the popular culture is not a true representation, even though we don't have a picture of him. It's not a true representation of what he is described as. And so yeah, so that's why history is important. All of our history needs to be shared and celebrated and told.
I do have to pass back and the shout out that you did for the genealogy program you did. That's amazing on Google Institute. It was a phenomenal day to see how you can trace your history and know what's going on. The crowd was really engaged and did case studies and it's phenomenal. And then the summit that Lloyd helped to do along with yourself here in this very atrium. The summit people they stuck around for like hours afterward. People say, listen, hey guys, you have to go home, but you gotta get out of here. So I mean, the summit was phenomenal. This whole group was filled full of people, amazing food, amazing information, case studies. I mean, people were engaged. You had folks bringing Miami, they came from all over the
Southeast and Omaha, Nebraska.
Exactly. We had a video report saying that please next year, if you're about to summit, please be here in person or remotely. Do something I'm telling you, the information you gave from that was so valuable about how we can improve our innovation in your community. So thank you so much for putting that on.
Oh, you're welcome. Much credit to Lloyd and Black Innovation. He was in Florida. And matter of fact, Vernon Watson, the WQP was there for reception Friday night. So really extending that. And for me, I think the biggest thing I got out of it was that as a non-tech person, that I can still fit within the AI rank, that I can find my way into the AI. But this is not giving you kudos, baby. I hear.
So I get more Lord.
No.
The inside joke, they probably had to like get a book and pull Lord away from the stage.
You mentioned
It's very passionate.
you mentioned those two letters, and you just go.
Yeah.
When they say, oh, wow, yes, oh, my goodness gracious.
Lord kept saying, you hear me? Do you hear me? I'm like, pull Lord away. But that happens great. Yes,
But it does, AI, we use it all the time, and sometimes don't realize. I use it when I'm doing research. Verify so much, maybe. Like, what do you call that? they're saying something too. I think we need to move on.
I know, love AI. Her company has a whole Gemini, they have a whole program in place, and she does a great job using it. I'm not as versed as Harry, her company is. They use the AI to do so much.
Oh, we're talking here.
Hello, the money there about AI.
Look at the time. Oh my. It's close. So
And Mr. Wallen, how about that cable TV?
no more sun. Oh my Lord. Well, okay. All right. So the next thing because we are so let's give a shout out before I forget to treat for you our partner since 2013. So let's give a shout out and they were here to make sure that everything was well Saturday as well. So this, it took a whole bunch of people to make that happen. That is healthcare industry, Wiley, and so many different people.
Those we have advantages are very good. And order patients, it was some good food. It was good. Oh, yeah, good. No, back there, say.
What?
It's time to move on.
Good job. All right, well, let's transition
Yeah,
to our special guest. Yeah, let's transition. So let me get her up here. Yeah.
There's a lot of that fun over there. Yeah, you should out of it.
When I do this, yeah. Okay. Let me see what it looks like. Oh my goodness. I think this is my sister who just came in from Texas via Arkansas. She can give it to her grandson.
There you go.
Make a good use of it. And what about this?
Give it away. Please, yeah, it's yours.
Give it to the person who traveled the farthest.
Oh. Exactly.
Family members included. Family members included.
Yeah.
Nepotism. Okay, all right. But don't think too far. We need the microphone. We ain't got that kind of money. We gotta share. Can you take your microphone?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my goodness gracious. Oh my goodness gracious. People on TV are looking at us like, what?
We practice it all day long.
About to say Donald Summers. With Donald Johnson. With our special guest. With Johnson, nurse extraordinaire, and she is going from her oh my goodness gracious. Am I gonna recover from this?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna recover. Okay, good. So come on in.
I don't know, when I reconnected with Robin and she said, come down here and do this, I had no earthly idea it was going to be comedy. I thought we would do some serious comedy.
We are.
Can I talk about AI? Listen, I'm a boy. And I've been a real estate for 48 years. And I'm 31 years old, so I'll be 82. And I promise you, I'm more than all of in that AI. I'm thinking you can't do it. Let me tell you something. If an old person can do it, I know you can do it. It's not that hard. It's not going away. You need to get on the program or get left behind. Because this is where it's at. How to work with it. And if you want to stay relevant in your job, even with your children and your grandchildren, and I've got grades running around, you need to learn what's going on? Is it going to replace everything? No. It's a great tool to use in business and in personal life things. So, you know, I mean, during your vacation, you can go on chat and then tell you what to do. If you don't do it. So you don't have to use it like use it for real estate. You can use it for personal stuff. If you go grocery business.
You want to sit here, we're gonna have a conversation, we're gonna do this one a little different.
Assuming I can get up.
You just said you got I think you already made it.
Yeah, don't hold that against me. You know, when I say I may be old, I did you.
So, first of all, welcome to the Pensacola Network Show.
I think there's a door over there.
No. You'll be just fine. I came here some decades ago. I saw Alexis' name in lights, and I came to know that she was the, as I call it, the realtor to the stars. And then found that one of my good friends bought every single house through Alexis. And again, when we met at the Gulf Coast Minority Chambers annual meeting, showed me that you had sold her parents a home too. And so we were playing catch up, and she talked about coming from Dubai and talking about negotiation. And I said, oh my goodness, this is something that we need to know about, particularly from a real estate perspective. But then how do you use that in this sort of broad swath? And as she said, she's been in real estate for 48 years now, and has an incredible backstory that I'm excited to share. So would you please welcome Alexis Bolin, realtor to the stars.
I don't think
it's too much credit. I think it's you've been awarded and rewarded for your, as you always say, and I've seen in past interviews, your hard work. That really has been what you said key to your success. So before you talk about it, I know you generally talk about being a single parent. I want to go back to who in your life did you see doing this hard work that you wanted to emulate?
Well, Robert, my grandmother was an immigrant. They escaped the Tsar in Russia, moved to England, and she was born in London in 1900. And so they eventually immigrated to the United States in 1907. And so my grandmother was one type of heart attack. Never got past 8th grade. She had to work as the oldest, feed the family. That's the way it was. That is. But my grandfather died during the Depression. I asked all the money they had. And she was a widow with her children. So, we think we've got a heart nowadays, and you think about your family and where they were back in the 1920s when things were so tough. But she had skill, and her skill was she could drive, and we didn't drive back then. And so she got a job with a very wealthy family, kind of being a chauffeur. And that's how she managed to raise 3 children. She never remarried. She became a nurse at 58 years old, graduated the Philadelphia School of Nursing, #1 in her class. But because she was 58, she had to become a licensed practical nurse. She couldn't be in the room because of age discrimination back then. And you think, well, 1958 doesn't seem that far back for some of us. But you just think about that type of nonsense going on. And thank God today that's not the case. But so I learned from her. She told me, you have to give people a day and a half's work a day. And then they'll let you do whatever you want to do, and that should be your goal. And she also said, you're not on the earth to mark time. You're on the earth to make a difference in somebody else's life. And that's the only legacy you have.
Wow.
So my mother was equally as strong And my mother also was a single parent. You know, mom and dad got divorced when I was in high school, not because they didn't care for each other, because they never remarried. But he was from Eastern Kentucky, and I grew up in Howard, near where Lynn grew up. And when he moved to New Jersey with us in 1957, I was in Oak Park, and he just couldn't operate in New Jersey. So he moved back to Kentucky. My father and mother lived there with professional gamblers. My dad was a local bootlegger. And
He knew how to do it.
my mother did. And my mom had an antique store, so mom sold the antiques out the front door, daddy sold the bottom out back. So my mother was equally smart, they had IQ sign up along with them. Even though they weren't college educated, they were smart people. And so, you know, we learned hard work. By what we saw.
So did y'all remain in Kentucky? Did you?
No, flood 57 lost her house. And my mother declared herself, having had all the funds she needed in Eastern Kentucky, she moved back to New Jersey. So, finished my 7th year there. But I grew up around working people. It wasn't just my mom and my grandmother, but all the people where we lived in Howard, everybody worked together, everybody started, everybody gathered at my aunt's house to can the food. They divvied it up according to how many was in the families, and everybody worked together, and it was a lot of work. So that came easy.
Yeah, so I mean, having looked at documentary with the country, but certainly not in the hall, and having seen people grow in there, that it is a hard life, but it feels like that you are built for that I know they're having some challenges now, some of them with some drugs and things like that, but traditionally you see them as hardworking people, whether it's a relationship, whatever, you see them as hardworking.
Absolutely, Robin.
Making it easy to
They were hardworking, they were God-fearing, they were community-oriented, and that's what I grew up around. And so that's how I got to bring to the table, it's really a whole lot, because I don't have a college education, but I do have a PhD in the school of economics, and my master's is in street smart.
Oh,
I have to call it behind the scenes.
so then the from Eastern Kentucky to New Jersey, you're seeing your grandmother make her way. That's absolutely amazing to even hear about a woman chauffeur. It's not something I've ever read in a history book, so that's pretty cool. And so from then to how did you get from there into Pensacola?
Well, I remarried. I was a single mom working as a waitress, bucking hour plus tips back in the late 60s. And then I remarried and the ex military. And we moved from there to Fort Worth, Georgia. And then he retired there and came to the Pensacola area, working at the house repairing computers for a company that would page and set computers down and say where he'd run over and fix it or mobile or where he went, Fort Worth, Alabama, or something like that.
And so then you're here in Pensacola. What gets you into real estate? What gets you into that profession?
Craziest story you've ever heard. So I was a food and beverage manager at the Officers Club in Fort Worth, Georgia. We moved here and it was Thanksgiving week of 77. First week of December, I went out to the base to talk to the manager of the Officers Club about a job. We didn't have a supervisor's job. So he offered me a waitress job, and I said, I don't think I'm going to do that. And he said, well, what are you going to do if you don't do that? I said, well, go on, take us over downtown and make a lot of money. And he said, you going to do that? And I said, no. And he said, what are you going to do? And I said, I think I'll just sell real estate. And he said, well, did anybody ever tell you that you'd be good at real estate sales? I said, no. He said, did anybody ever ask you to sell real estate? I said, no. He goes, well, what in the world makes you think you can sell real estate? And I said, well, I've been waiting tables 18 years, and they'll come and sit in my section. So I figured they gotta be a little pickier about what they eat and where they live, so I guess I can sell them out. So he told me I was crazy, but he keep my name in case he got a job, override job bill. He keep my file. And I left and I lived in Lower East, so on my way back, I had met him, see, I had my, and we didn't have GPS. And so I passed the building, the little brick house, it's a real estate company, on the little sign outside, it said real estate schools from January, there was a phone number. I called the sign up, so the first week of January.
So this was, you saw the sign in January and signed up, you saw the sign?
Saw the sign in the first week of December, 1977, and I signed up for real estate school the first week of January, 1978.
You're not here to borrow time, you're here to make a difference.
Well, I guess that, I guess
I'm
that.
thinking about what your grandmother said.
Yeah. And the other thing is you should never get so high that you forgot where you came from.
Mm.
And that's the favorite her.
Did she say girlfriend?
Uh-huh. And you know what the answer is, yes.
Yes, ma'am, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am,
Yeah.
yes.
That's what got me in real estate. So, you know, Rob, I just believe that everything in life has a calling. Some people never figure out what it is. I think my waitress days and having to really rake and scrape and everything to feed my two children, and I put my sisters in. You know, when you don't have enough money to feed two, you know, you don't have enough money to feed three. And so, you know, we've all been there where we watered down the tomato soup, a little bit of milk or something, make it stretch a little bit.
You had
And, but, hey, they had powder, but they didn't know it. So it makes half a whole powder. And when they hear this, I'm gonna be in trouble. And then they would drink it because it came out of the milk.
Oh, no, I'm not gonna be able to do that with powdered eggs to make the eggs rich.
Yeah, well, I didn't do that for eggs, I sure did with milk. But, going back to what we were saying, so to me, that was my prerequisite for dealing with people. Because being a waitress and being in real estate is nothing but a service industry. Because we don't have anything as realtors tangible to sell you. Plus, by the time you come to me or any real estate agent, you've made a decision to do something. You want to buy a house, you want to sell. So what you're doing is coming to us for help. And so we're in the service industry. And that's what my whole group is built on, is serving people. And yes, I met our friend Dr. Ava. You don't know about her, huh? You know, she's where's her, but because of her parents, who were from Maryland. And she was living in the Navy when I first met her. So I went through her whole Navy career with her, everything happened in the family, you know. Her ex-husband became minister of the church, everything. So that's how I work with my clients. Now, it doesn't mean it's good or bad, it just works for me. You know, other realtors work with women, I would say, it be you and all we need. And it works, there's no right way or wrong way to do it.
So we titled this The Art of Negotiation, and so based on our conversation, it's that is it an art or is there a science to it? So as you use your grandmother's and your mother's wisdom, your experience from serving the restaurant, being a waitress and hostess and a manager, what have you learned in that tells you it's either an art or a science to it, either or both, to negotiation? Then we'll get into sort of the nuts and bolts.
Well, I think honestly, in my opinion, I'm going to tell you it's probably a little bit of both, and maybe none of it. Because we grew up, all of us have grown up learning how to negotiate things, all of us. I mean, if anybody has dealt with a 2-year-old, I'm seeing a little one over there now. I mean, negotiating with a 2-year-old, that's the best negotiator in the world. The only word they know is no. I don't care what you ask them, is no. You want chocolate ice cream? No. You know, want Cheerios? No. You know, want a toy? No. So you learn all your life how to navigate and how to negotiate things and how to work with people to accomplish what you're trying to do. And so in the real estate world, negotiation and scripts and dialogues and things, something everybody's afraid of. But there's no reason to be afraid of it, because all you're doing is taking a life situation and figuring out how to make it work. Because it's just a big puzzle, and you just have to figure out how to make it work.
And regardless of what the problem or service is, so you're dealing with homes, businesses, but even if it's a widget or a piece of land, these strategies are, you're saying they are the same, that it's either art or science or neither.
But it is. So in the world of negotiation, in order to help you help yourself, I've got to know something about you. I've got to know what your goal is here, what you're trying to accomplish. So if you just use the words that we were taught in grammar school, and of course none of us ever thought we'd ever use anything we were taught then. And I don't know how many of you like me wondered why in the world I had to learn the beginning to get a certain dress, because since grammar school nobody ever had to do that. But so you're open-ended questions, and you want to use who, what, why, when, and where, now in part of your discussion and negotiation. So you're a seller, you say, I want to sell my home. I want to know, so what do you think I should do to get the home sold? What do you think the agent should do? And the person asking the question is because I want to see through your eyes. Because if I can't see through your eyes, I can't help you. And it doesn't mean that what you see is what the outcome's going to be. It just means that I have to better understand you. And when you can better understand the other person, you have a better chance of helping the other person accomplish something. So if you are thinking that you can get, let's say you've got a $300,000 house, and you're thinking you can get $375,000 for it, after you look at the sales in your neighborhood, there's a real good indication that's not going to happen. Then my next question to you would be, so based on these sales from it, how do you think you're going to go about doing this? And who do you think this buyer's going to be that's willing to overpay the house? So it's a series of questions, and he who asks the most questions controls the conversation. Because then I learn about you. I learn about your needs and your wants. And a lot of times we can't give them everything we want. I wish we could. We can. I mean, I still hear from people that call on the phone, "Oh, I live in Pensacola, Florida. What are you looking for?" I have a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house overlooking the ocean. Well, what is your price range for this? Well, I can spend $500,000. Well, first of all, we don't have an ocean, right? We have love, right? And you're not going to get a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home.
Maybe 2 months.
Right, yeah, maybe a rental. But the point is, sometimes their expectation is not something you can help them accomplish.
It is, from what I hear you saying, the first thing is to start with the end in mind. That is your question. What is your goal?
Correct. And what is your game plan if you can't accomplish that? You see? So you say, well, Alexis, and this hasn't happened to me. I have to have $375,000, something like this happened 5 years ago. Because I moved to California, and I'm moving to San Francisco. Do you have any idea what prices are in San Francisco? And he goes, well, I have to have that, because I have to buy a house in San Francisco. Well, that's an interesting theory. So I said, do you mind if I ask a question? And I want you to know that's the best thing you can ever do when you're speaking with people and you're trying to help them to get to know them better and to help them help themselves. If you ask them, you can ask the question, they give you permission, then whatever you say then is okay, even if they don't like it. So I said to him, mind if I ask the question? He goes, no, yes. So you really believe that theory, right? He goes, yes. I said, well, let's assume you're right. So you're going to San Francisco. Would you be buying a house from a guy moving to Tokyo based on your theory? Because when he gets to Tokyo, he's going to have more money than what he's going to get out of the house in San Francisco. So is that what you're trying to say? And he did just what you did. All of a sudden, the light bulb went on, and he realized that what he said
make
Yeah,
decisions.
it's gonna happen. You know, his reasoning for what he's doing has nothing to do with the price of houses in Pensacola, in San Francisco, or in Tokyo. It doesn't make any difference.
So starting with the end in mind and being flexible in that, in the road to get there.
Yes.
Well, I guess they can understand that you may not get to that particular end.
That's correct. And then knowing that, the next question to you would be, now that we know we can't do that. My question to you is, do you still want to move forward and sell the house? Right?
Practicality in there.
Well, yes, and so if you tell me, yes, I need to sell the house because we're moving and we have a job in, Michigan somewhere, then okay, then let's talk about what we have to do to accomplish that goal to get you there and you need to be there. So part of negotiation, the better part of it is asking questions and listening to what you're being told. You see, I was asked not too long ago in a magazine interview, what kind of market is it? How many people say that to renters? What's the market? How's the market?
Is it a buyer's market? Is it a seller's
Right.
market?
Right. So if you ask me that, I say, well, it's a skills market. We've always had a skills market. Mr. Vernon and I were talking about him building his house in 1978, and interest rates were 8.5%, and it's a skills market because it doesn't matter what the market's doing. It makes absolutely no difference what the real estate market's doing. A certain amount of people are going to buy a house that year, and a certain amount of people are going to sell a house that year for their reasons. My job is to help them accomplish their goal in the market we've got to work with. I can't set the interest rates, folks. Wish I could. First of all, it's been in the shop for a long time. I can't set the prices of the houses. But what I can do is help you accomplish what you're trying to do if you understand the market we're dealing with and are willing to work in the market.
So being very practical to say, I don't like this rate, I don't like this interest rate. Well, you can't do anything about it, so.
I don't like it either.
Yeah.
And that's my answer. I'm working that way.
Yeah.
We agree, we can agree on, we don't like the interest rate. So
You still want to sell the house.
correct, or you still want to. Correct, because it is what it is. I can't change that. You need to control the controllables. Because certain things in our life are totally non-controllable. We don't have any choice over the interest rates. I wish I did, and we do. We don't have any control over the price of construction or what it costs for a house, what it costs for other services. We have a decision to make based on what the market's doing. What can I do? How can I work in that market to accomplish what I want to do?
It's false. I just feel like, there's a series, I don't know who, but they're called the master class. You ever seen that? They'll, I feel like I'm getting a plain spoken master class. Like, I'm close to person, like, whichever one. Yeah, it's just, it's really like, this amazing basis for you to get that PhD. As our dad used to say, how high deep. So, but to get, it's fascinating.
Well, people look at real estate salespeople and I know over all these years, if you look at studies, we're about 2 rungs higher on the totem pole than used car salespeople because they think we're kind of lazy salesmen. No, I'm not here to sell you anything. You said you wanted to sell a house. You need help. I'm here to be your advisor. I'm here to help you through this whole situation. I'm here to keep you from stepping on the alligator. And that's what I tell every buyer and every seller. That's my position here.
You can't do anything with the alligators there.
No.
You're just trying to help the person.
Correct. We're going to try to go around the alligator so we don't have to get near them. So, for example, in today's world, all of you know that your insurance rates are going up, right? And something else we can't control. It's like, oh my gosh, coming to Florida from Alabama, look how much your insurance is. I go, yeah. Maybe you don't want to live here. That's a good reason not to come. Okay? On the other hand, it's good to die in Florida because We're more favorable than that way, so I don't know what your goal is here, but yeah, the insurance is like, nothing I can do about it. When you say income tax, it'll be for insurance. The point is that what I can help you do as the seller, when I said, Robin, how old is your roof? You tell me you got a roof put on in 2005. It's to say, Robin, there's an outlet. Because the insurance companies are not going to insure the house for the next fire. So we need to talk about this big ticket item before we go put this house on. So I want to counsel you on the big things that may show up along the way and get us prepared for what we have to do, because I can't stop those things from happening. I mean, I can't change the insurance rules, just like I can't change the income, but I can help you get prepared. Or the other thing is a home inspection. Now, a home inspector, you know, you can have an absolutely perfectly brand new house, and I sell a lot of homes where it's home inspection, and I'm telling you what, they're still a laundry list. So, a home inspector can help kill the deal. So wouldn't it be better off to find out upfront what you're selling? So you have an opportunity to make corrections if necessary before we find the buyer and lose the deal because of the inspection.
And I'm getting outside of real estate to take your point about the home inspector, is that you want to get an objective person or an objective entity to look at what this widget is, and so that they give you this objective view of it. Again, to avoid the alligators.
Well, absolutely. So as a home seller, you know, in today's world, it's different than it was back in 22 and all that. Because if you could slap it to a wall, somebody would buy it. That's not the real world of real estate. That was a phenomenon that happened coming through, and it's gone, and it's not coming back. So now we have to deal with where we are. So you've got, in order to sell a house today, it's a price for a beauty contest. You've got to win both. And so my job is to help you win. Now, you may say to me, you know, Alexis, I don't have the money for these repairs. That's okay. There's a top dollar price, and there's a as-is price. So somebody will buy it with all the blemishes that you've got, but they're not going to pay top dollar because that's not how we're wired. Am I right? I mean, if I'm gonna buy a used car and I have to pay a new car price, I'm not buying the used car.
Again, you're still trying to help them get to that goal.
Right.
Just be practical.
And Robin, that's all part of negotiation. The other thing that you learn over the years, if you haven't learned it already, and mine is that my father and mother also were professional gamblers. So I always say, you know, meet the real Bonnie and Clyde. They're my parents. Mama was the best poker player you've ever seen. Mama always said, and I shared this with Bolin earlier, never sit down to play with people you know nothing about. Never play with money you can't afford to lose. And the other thing she taught me is that you should always leave something on the table for the other guy, because then they'll come back and play with you again. And you'll have an opportunity to win a little more money. So in negotiation, right, don't try to take everything. Because, you know, pigs get fed and hogs get slaughtered. And so, don't act like that. In any negotiation, in anything you do, it has to be a win-win situation. It has to work for both the buyer and the seller. It can't be one's going to beat upon the other because it's not a good transaction. I don't want to deal like that person. I really don't. I want the buyer and the seller to be happy with what they did. I don't want to have a fight. See, that's not nice. And we don't have to do that in my world. We don't do that. Now, it may happen with other realtors, it may happen somewhere else, but in my world, we don't do that.
And you want to be able to, like it is, to retain that relationship back to what you say to Ava's parents, and then selling and selling and selling, or helping Ava to buy and sell and buy and sell. Yeah.
The part of what I do, and I can only talk for me, I can't talk for others, is this is a relationship basis. So all sales are the same as they were when Christ walked the earth. They're based on bartering and they're based on relationship. If I know you and I trust you, we're gonna have a better outcome if you trust me. If you don't trust me, we're not gonna have a good outcome. That's it. I don't wanna work with people who don't trust me, because I'm gonna have to deliver bad news to them. Your house isn't praised, you got termites, so everything's being replaced. I want them to trust that I'm telling them the truth. And everything is built on trust. We do business time and time again at the same place. That's why people would wait to sit in my section at the grocery at the restaurant. Because if they came in and said, how's the roast beef today? And I thought it was better, I'd say, Robin, today you turned out your roast beef.
You gonna sell something, but it just ain't.
Well, I'm not selling anything. You came in to get lunch. I'm just trying to serve you. But you asked me how the roast beef was, and I told you. So be honest with people. I mean, I never have to worry about things because I'm honest with people. Now, you don't have to be like my grandmother. Let me tell you, I come in this dress that I thought was fabulous from, and I worked hard to save my money. And I come out in this dress and I said, what do you think? And she, that might be the ugliest dress I ever seen. So I'm not saying you do that. You can deliver news differently. You don't have to be very, right? How many of you got family like that? Y'all got grandma like that? Yeah, grandma might not be as bad, but usually a little bit bad. But, you know, that's the grandmother effect.
It's the same grandmother that chauffeured it.
Yeah, same as your grandmother. You know, they all have some things. I swear up and down, that somewhere in the flat, there's a school. I know my mom never met your mom, but I bet you can answer every single thing I'm gonna say. Just because Johnny's gonna jump, don't mean what? You jump, right? I mean, and I'm still wondering why. I was told to make sure my underwear is always clean in case I get hit by a bus, right? Oh, that's some fashion. I'm thinking, why do you have to be clean? I'm leaving in the middle of the street. That was your own talking. I promise you we were. I did not know where they were. I've been looking for that for years, and then when I got to be a mother, yeah, right. So all I'm saying, going back to this, is that we do things the way we see things, per our habit, and the way we've taught how to negotiate. It may not be right, it may not be wrong. It's just, I've got to see where you're coming from in order to help you. And as I said, when I can see through your eyes, I can help you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
How do you know when it's time to walk away from negotiation?
Well, you know that old song. And open the door. That was my mother. When the situation is such that you realize that it's not a good deal. So, I mean, I have to say, most of the realtors who know me for years, when they try to beat upon the seller and say that I'm working with, they just keep pushing for a little bit more, pushing for a little bit more here, pushing for a little bit more there. I'll go to the seller and say to the seller, you know, are you feeling good about this? Is this what you really want to do? And if you tell me you're feeling bad about it, I say, look, here's what I think. It's up to you. I think we let them loose. Because, you know, this is like fishing. Some are keepers and some are not. All right? And if you really need to sell your house that bad, I'll buy it so we don't have to put it with that water. And then I buy it. And then you got it. Yes, it's time. You gotta fish your cut pay. These people are being difficult to work with. They're never gonna be more pleasant than they are today. And you're gonna have to deal with them for the next 30, 60, or 90 days to get your property closed. Is this what you want? If you wanna run that race, I'm here with you. Your choice what you wanna do. Because we can sell the house for nice people. We can, I promise you, we can find a nice person who wants to buy the house and sell it to them for less money, and be less aggravated. And they'll let you be digging the hill, visual feet, do anything you say. It's not worth it. Your inside's gonna be upside down if you get into a situation that isn't. So he's.
Sellers, not hear about buyers.
It's not necessarily the remorse, because once you get in a contract, you're in a contract, that's it. But it's, why would you want to have your stomach in knots and walking on eggshells for this buyer when you don't have to? He who has no have-tos always wins. Right? That goes back with, don't play with money you can't afford to lose. I personally can walk from anything. Doesn't make any difference what it is.
He who has no have-tos
Always wins.
always.
Because, like I talked to a guy today, an investor, throwing out a low price on property I had, and I said, yeah, send it to me, I'll send it to him. He goes, well, then you'll get a sale. And I go, really? I said, you got the wrong agent on the phone here later. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I need a sale. God's been good. God's been good, I work as a wanted. God's been very good to me. And so I don't have any have-tos. I don't have to have a sale. And quite frankly, these people don't have to sell a house. So you got an agent who don't care, and you have a seller who doesn't care. So send the offer. And that was about 3 o'clock this afternoon, we had that discussion. When I got off the phone with this young man, he was an agent in Texas, he said to me, oh my God, I wish I could. I'd like to know you better. Please Google me. So the point I'm making in anything you do in life, because everything's a negotiation, you know, think about how important it is for you to have it. If you have to pay full price to get it, and it's important to you, do it. There's no sin in paying full price for something. There's not. And by the way, don't let the agent talk you into or out of anything that you don't think is in your best interest. Me, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. I have a little sign on my desk that a lender gave me years ago, and it says, if you like it, I love it. But I had a buyer say to me, you know, well, what do you think about the house? You know, quite frankly, I wouldn't have it to give it to me because it's not my style. But it's not up to me to say that, and I said to them, if you like it, I love it. And it's true. If you like it, I love it. If there's no alligators there, if there's nothing I can see that would be a big ticket item that you're gonna have to address, or I see an issue, it's, you know, we're in a flood zone, and every time it rains, it's now on a flood. If you still know about that and you're okay with it, I'm happy.
And you still, you're helping them reach there with
Correct.
practicality.
Correct. I mean, if I sold the house with a couple of gallons of the septic tank is underneath the back, 3 porch. And we found out about it. And I had a meeting with them, went out there with the septic people, looked at it, goes, well, I can look, there's a place there, I can move the lid on the side of the screen porch out here in the yard to plug it out. And he goes, but if anything happens to it, you have to put a septic somewhere. And I go, how much is that? And this was years ago. So I said, well, we were talking about this, and we went and got a cold drink, and I said, well, what do you think? And they said, well, we really love the house, and the septic's working right now, so we're okay with it.
If you like it, I love it.
Hey, let me tell you what, we closed on that house in 15 years. If I call them on the phone right now, they can give you a testimony for how long. But it didn't matter to them. It matters to them. Correct? They weren't worried about it. Sooner or later, we're going to replace it anyway, so we won't put it way back out here. They're running it. Okay. Works for me. And you know how the type of the inside. And you know this everybody. But that's what I'm talking about. When we're negotiating things, it isn't always the way you see it. I'm sitting there thinking, well, I would ask the lady to put in the proper thing, wouldn't you? But they didn't want to do that. They wanted to buy the house, and they were afraid if they asked for that, they wouldn't do it, they wouldn't get the house. So, okay. So it's not what people, negotiating for things is not what people think it is. And, I mean, again, it's not up to me.
Is there, this is my last question, so we can have the next question. Is there a question that you would never ask, that you would literally clutch your pearls if someone asked in your presence or invited you to ask?
I don't think so, unless it would be something discriminatory or illegal, something of that nature. I'm not pretty much afraid of anything, can you notice that? I'm not afraid of tough questions. You know, I mean, I don't go up to people and ask them how they are. I don't do what happens to me sometimes, and they go, "You look great. Have you had work done?" I don't think I go up and ask like that. You know, but, you know, every question is there for a reason. There's a purpose in why somebody wants to ask a question. So I would go back to you and say, well, why is that important to you? Before I would just jump in and ask a question. But myself personally, I don't ask any questions that are going to hurt someone's feelings or you know, anything like that. And so I don't. I get the information I need by asking the questions the way they need to be asked. So if you have the skill that you know how to do that, then you never insult anybody. My husband used to say, "Oh my God, you can tell somebody else and then they can say, thank you, no." So I haven't really, I don't think, been put in an uncomfortable position like that. At all. And so, I mean, if they did ask me this, ask something I felt I would first ask them why, and then I would probably say no. Your choice. You know, let me say this, Robin, life is about choice. And every day and every way, we make choices. And people don't realize that. Whether you're even going to get up in the morning is a choice. You can stay in bed all day if you want. What you're gonna wear, or how you feel that morning, what route you're gonna drive to work, if you're going to work, what you're gonna eat. Everything is a choice. We live in choice. And so if you make the right choices, the right things happen. Do we sometimes make wrong choices? Oh Lord God, yes. I had to get some problem before I got to the prince. So was it a bad choice I made? Probably not. It might not have been the best choice. You say that I learned, and every choice you make teaches you a lesson. Every single choice you make teaches you a lesson. Absolutely. And every time you make the mistake, you learn. He who has never made a mistake has learned nothing. And if you meet somebody that acts like they've never made a mistake in their life, that's right. And so our grandmother said, you don't need to be there. Run. I'm so glad I gave you anything about negotiation.
This has been a master, a very practical master class in negotiation. So on behalf of all of us, thank you, Grandma. So let me close out this portion. This has been Alexis Bolin, Realtor to the Stars. And so thank you so much for engaging us with this. And we are going to open it up for questions by I am grateful. I think that's all over here. DR.
I was wondering, you know, the insurance companies, they determine the age of like single family.
Well, your question is, you're saying the insurance company determines the age of replacing shingles? I don't think that's correct. The insurance company has a guideline. If your roof is a certain age, they don't want to insure it. You can keep your roof, and the buyer probably can't get insurance to buy it. But is that what you're asking?
Yeah, kind of. I just wonder what the guidelines age that they pretty much go by. They need to be replaced.
But
They don't go by the guarantee on the single. then the income flows.
No, that is a great question. So the question is about the insurance company's requirement for replacement of the shingles. So let's say you've got a roof that is a 30-year warranty on your shingle. That's a warranty. It's not a guarantee. But the insurance company says, well, that's all wonderful. If your roof is 16 years old, we don't care how much warranty it is. We're only going to insure the house for the next 5. So there's a difference between what the shingle warranty has to say and whether or not the house is insurable because of the age of it. That answer? Because that you're dealing with that every day of the week. And so since the insurance company can do what the insurance company wants to do, that's called where does an elephant sit? And the answer is look out below. Why get insurance from a buyer? We have to deal with it. Even though you may have a 30-year warranty. And by the way, let me say this. I want y'all to read your shingle warranty. Because typically the shingle warranty says it's only warranted to the original purchase. It's only warranted, typically, it says it's only warranted to the original purchase. So you sell your house to me, and you put roof on 5 years ago, they're not gonna want that roof. So read your shingle warranty, nobody does. And when sellers tell me I have a 30-year warranty on here, one of the questions on our seller disclosure is, help your roof, is it still under warranty? You're gonna answer yes. And I'm gonna say to you, go get your warranty, and let's look at it. You say yes. If you say it's under warranty, and it's not, and they buy it, and a year later they got an issue, they're looking for you, because you told them it was under warranty. So let's make sure we know what we're talking about. So go back and read your warranty. Then I want you to know that they will prorate those shingles based on age. They depreciate it. They're not gonna run out there and give you a whole new roof. They depreciate it. Again, this is just a broad answer I gave you. Read the paperwork you have on the shingles you have on your roof.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. So you're saying operate from a place of peace and was a turning point when I realized that? I guess I've always been like that my entire life. Some things you realize as you get older that you go through when you're younger, and they come back with more meaning as you get older. But I guess that's just how I've always lived. And I don't like to live in chaos and turmoil, whatever. I'm not jealous of what anybody else has. And I'm happy if you have something and you're happy with it. I've never been like that. I've been blessed, and I know that real estate is my calling. When I was with the real estate, I was 39 years selling properties up there on that avenue. And I was the #1 agent internationally 3 different times for ERA real estate all across the world. And of course, all 3 times I was shocked about it. I didn't know it. But particularly the first time, I found myself saying, oh my God, from Pensacola, Florida, how did this happen? How does that happen? And there's no answer to these things, because God does what God does. And God uses you in those ways. And so I guess pretty much I've been at peace with a lot of things. I just accept the way it is, and then try to figure out how I'm going to work with it, which is what I said in the negotiation.
I know what the company.
Yeah, this is what you got. So you got to learn to work with what you got. And if you don't learn to work with what you got, you're going to be pretty miserable. Because there were times when I didn't have enough money to buy groceries. And I sat my children down and I went through the grocery list and I moved my little money from one side to the other and said, milk is 30 cents, okay, and bread is this and pretty soon I had stuff on the list of money over there. And I said, when we get to the grocery store, we'll act up. Don't be asking for stuff because mom doesn't have any money. Now today, they try to come take them away. They probably be better off if they did. But what I'm trying to do is, even at that point, I was very practical. I knew what I had to work with. And then when I had times that I could buy some cookies or candy or whatever, I said, you have a choice, three of you come to a decision on what you want to buy. You get one thing. But I worked within the means that I had.
And then teaching them to negotiate too.
Oh, my children are excellent.
Wow.
My children have excellent life skills. And that's what this is about. This is life skills. I mean, really, you call it negotiation, but that's life skills. That's stuff we all want. That we're hoping we teach the children and the grandchildren. You know, how many times have your parents said to you, you said to your children, live within your means. My grandmother said, if you make $1, you gotta put 10 cents away for time. Now, she was Jewish, I want you to know. You gotta put 10 cents away for time. That's correct. Yes. And then you pay yourself first. So you're gonna take 10 cents and you're gonna put that into a savings account. And then you figure out how you're gonna live on the rest of it. You gotta put so much money away for your taxes. And then maybe you got $250 left to live on. But you got to figure out how to do it. And to me, that's what it's about. I hope that answered your question, because I didn't know quite what to say.
So you talk about awards, rewards, we know your name. So, but if none of that was there, what would you, when you close your eyes, what would you take away?
The ability to have an impact on others. All of that stuff doesn't matter. My grandmother used to say that she worked with some very wealthy people over there on the Jersey Shore as a private duty nurse. And she always used to say to me, one thing you need to keep in mind is that there's never been a Brinks truck following her. It doesn't matter if those material things you accumulate. It only matters what you did for others, how you made others feel, and what you did to make a difference in somebody else's life. So years ago, we actually, I want everybody to know this, we had a scholarship at Pensacola State College. It's a family scholarship because my husband's name on it, but it's in honor of my mother and my grandmother. And it goes to a single parent with a child of a single parent. Because of them. And so that's out there. So if you have children, you have friends who have children that are going to college, and it is perfection. Oh, perfection. All right, whatever. I didn't go to college, so that's a big word for me. But it's there in perpetuity. And so it'll live long after I'm gone. And my children have been taught, we get to pick who gets scholarship. We don't let the college do that. So when we get the essays, we don't get any names, the number 1 through 3 or however they give us. And I email them to everybody, and even the grandchildren have voted. And everybody reads it. And we all come to a conclusion on who we're going to give this scholarship to. And the purpose of that is to teach the grandchildren to be philanthropic and to give back. And so, I would say, to me, that's the difference. What can I do to help you is more important to me than all the awards I've got. 10 pins in the accident. But that doesn't mean a thing. I mean, it really doesn't. People don't care. All these awards and accolades don't mean a thing in the world if you're a duty. I mean, they don't care. And we've got all kinds of sports stars, movie stars, people like that who are duties. I don't care. You care about somebody who is sincere about making a difference. And that's all I'm about. When I'm gone, run to my house quick, they're gonna sell a book for Christmas, 10 cents a stick. It don't mean nothing. You can't take that with you.
Did you ask AI question?
No, I haven't.
Oh, baby, it's gonna be a long.
That's how I'm gonna tell them how to reach me if they want to call in.
Yes, please. Yes.
I'm like Fred Levin, there's my personal cell phone. 850-777-0275. If I can help you in any way, please let me know. Because I'll be more than glad to answer questions. You have a question?
Yes, since the topic was on negotiation, back, I think it was in the 90s, I listened to this audiobook. It's Trump Strategies on Real Estate.
Mhm.
Have you ever been tempted to read that book, or did you read that book?
No, I haven't, but now that you told me about it, I'll check it out.
Well, what,
So.
no, so like, what the deal was, I when I listened to that audiobook, I realized that I had been manipulated all my life. Because, like you say, you're negotiating, and the strategy, his lawyer wrote that book, and he said that he was telling all the different ways you negotiate. And so if somebody made you an offer and you were okay with that offer, you would pretend you wasn't okay just to get them to go higher. And so like, it seems like you're taking advantage of people when you're actually okay with what they offer. And I noticed your approach was like totally different.
Well, maybe I won't read it now. With a question like that, would, if the seller, let's say it's an offer to the seller, and they were comfortable, or even a buyer,
Yeah.
and they were comfortable with what that was, then I would say, are you comfortable with that? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
You have choices here. You can say yes and take the deal. You can say no and walk. Or you might go back and say, well, the deal with 300,000 is pretty good, but let's go back and see if you'll take 280. That's still a choice that you have to make, understanding that you might not get it. You might have passed your one opportunity to purchase what you're trying to purchase. So I don't operate that way. I operate from what is it that you want to do? Because anytime you go back in a negotiation, you're opening up the door, not only for the price we're talking about, but all the other items that go into what's on the table. And so people don't realize that sometimes. You go back and you make a counter offer to the seller, and it's, let's say it's 290, and they told you they'd take 300. Next thing you know, the seller's like, I tell you what, I'm gonna leave the patio furniture, I'm gonna leave the pool equipment, I'm gonna leave the shed in the backyard. I'm gonna pay the title insurance, but now you want it for 290, I'm doing nothing. That's correct. So how bad do you want to do this? And it's not up to me, and I'll say it's not up to Trump either. It's not up to anybody except the two parties involved as to what it is they want to do. I gave you choices. That's my job as your real estate advisor. I want you to know the good, bad, and the ugly. Here's your choices. You make that seller a really low offer, you stand a chance that the seller doesn't want to talk to you anymore. Is that what you want to do? I'd say the same thing with the seller. You take a chance that they'll take a walk. Is that what you want to do? Because I've had sellers do that. They had a perfectly good offer on their house and decided that they wanted to go back and squeeze for a little more. The buyer said no. Right? So those are your choices. Those are the outcomes. And if they can live with the outcome, I live with the outcome. So I don't know. think there's any right or wrong rule with what you're doing when you're negotiating. I think the best thing is when everybody feels good about the deal they made. Everybody, everybody. I mean, I've been known to go back to a realtor with a buyer, they've been ugly, and I said, well, apparently this buyer's not feeling good about this. So let me talk to the seller and let's see what we can do is send you over a cancellation contract right now. And I did that on one. They pushed too far. And she goes, well, wait a minute, no, they really want to buy the house. And I said, well, we can't tell that by their actions. So I called the seller and I said, do you want to send over a cancellation? And he said, let's do it. I prepared a cancellation and sent it. Well, guess what? They were sucking wind like you've never seen in your life. And then we got an email that said, oh, we love your house, we really want to buy it. No, before, you think they were buying the junk. And that the seller ought to be privileged that they were even trying to buy it.
On the streets, they say,
So again, sometimes that's necessary, they got them back on track. I mean, they start bobbing, yes, anything, everything that they can happen after that, because they realized that what they were doing wasn't right. And sometimes you just have to show them that. Sometimes they don't know it isn't right. Does that make sense? And the old thing we hear all the time, they don't know what they don't know. And your job, at least my job as real estate advisor, is to, we call them alligators, give you your choices, and let you decide what you want to do. You know, if the buyer walks, what are you going to do? What's your game plan if this guy takes a walk? Let's talk about the record.
about those tattoos.
Yeah. And so 99.9% of my sales close. Because we don't have those issues. We anticipate what might happen. We get our house ready to sell. We know what kind of condition we've got with the buyer. We're able to see the condition that the seller's offering. We're able to discuss, can we live with that condition? Can we live with the things the home inspector comes up with? And they always come up with something. I've never seen one yet that didn't have dirty faucets. The battery in the smoke detector didn't work. Something silly. Oh, caulk around the bathtub. Wonderful. You know, we need to caulk around the windows. Great. Is this the hill you want to die on, or do you want to do the fixed furnace? So you got to pick the hill you want to die on, so to speak.
We all know how we make Alexis Bolin. So, give the BQP TV for sharing this information far and wide along the Gulf Coast. Glad to see our good friend, community hero, Jackie here. We talked we booked this couple months ago when she heard it, she said, call me, text me, send the horse to my house. I can be there. I can be there. This woman is a busy woman next to old Winfrey. So she said, well, hold on. We're going to close the portion now. Then you can tell her.
Should I say one more thing? I want to recognize my women's council friend coming here tonight to support me. It's a great organization to belong to, and I'm just thrilled to be a part of it.
So you didn't tell me you were part of that. You just let it here. It's okay. All right. You back in the fold. You back in the fold. Thank y'all here so much. We're going to close this out. And I think we're good. Next month we have the wonderful people from Sales Team Bed and Breakfast. I'm so excited to have them here. And I thought you'd been there. Yes. I'm excited to have them, and then we're on to I think we have Virginia within July. We're going to have Aaron Gilbert to help us celebrate 13 years financial advisor extraordinaire, and so I'm so excited. I think when I called her, she was on a plane back in Egypt. I'm just fabulous lives. Yeah, been there, done that. Fabulous lives.
I'm heading to speak in Spain and Portugal, June 1st.
Oh my God, we got to get your baggage here. You will hear the teaching.
Get in line, What's the best out?
I'm gonna take up here. So, meet each other and continue to serve. Continue to meet. Thank you all for volunteering to be back. We have a drawing book here.
No.
All right, we'll just share.
Definitely got it. Well, now y'all should get a T-shirt that says I survived the election.
No.
Thank you.